Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel. Thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Bremont Supermarine S500 S1BR dive watch. You can see and you can purchase this stainless steel automatic chronometer day-date dive watch on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Bremont Supermarine S500. Now, in the most flattering fashion possible, Bremont is sort of the British Breitling. They build a lot of sports watches, mostly pilots genre, mostly stainless steel, mostly powered by automatic chronometer grade ETA calibers. And that's not a knock in any sense. ETA builds the best movement for the money and is perennially one of the top scorers in independent chronometry trials, generally via a derivative of the 2836 that's found in this watch. That's right, the 2824 is always a contender in the Museum of Leloc's biannual chronometry trials. So you're getting a very accurate movement in a very distinctive watch from a great brand that backs its products. Now let's talk a little bit about the fit. 43 millimeters across the round of the case, not inclusive of the crown guard and the crown at 2 o'clock. The watch is thick, not excessively so, but 16.5 millimeters means you're not going to clear a dress cuff of any kind. From lug to lug, we're really going to measure extremity to extremity. You can see lug to lug being considerably less than the 54.5 millimeter span from solid end link to solid end link of the bracelet. The watch does come with an accessory strap, so take off about 4 millimeters and you have the effective lug to lug with the strap fitted. Now the watch is very substantial and the bracelet is impressive. Bremont puts a lot of thought into its case and bracelet designs. You can see the triptych case design, hard anodized on the flank, face hardened steel throughout. You'll also note that the lugs themselves are almost external to the form of the case. They're almost like a separate structure, and that's to allow for this large watch to fit well on a small wrist. Now my wrist is 16 centimeters. I would say this watch is going to sit squarely, securely, and probably with decent style on a wrist between 14.5 and 15 centimeters in circumference. More easily fit, I would say, if your wrist is oval in shape. Now the bracelet is very substantial. You can see the links are thick, hardy, and although not overly innovative in design, after all, there is a sports watch company famous for a 3-link steel bracelet, but it does get the job done, and oftentimes with bracelet, the devil or God is in the details. This one feels substantial, and you'll note its underside features broad channels to aerate the wrist on a hot day and avoid pinching skin or pulling hair. The clasp, though bereft of a micro adjustment, does feature 2 perforations for minuscule adjustments to the length, and I have to applaud the overall solidity of the clasp. I would give up the quick adjust for the sheer strength of this clasp, which is beautifully made of large machined swing arms, and then features the security of twin trigger release. This is a clasp that feels up to the task of holding a large, heavy, and premium sports watch secure on the wrist. Now let's talk a little bit about the case. I already talked about the triptych design and how the lugs are visually separate as well as ergonomically distinct. You'll note a helium escape valve in the flank for those of you who are saturation diving, ready and willing. Everyone else, it's an interesting conversation piece. Now I mentioned very early on that there is a sapphire bezel. What I mean is there's a sapphire cap atop the bezel. The bezel features a wonderfully chunky knurled grip and fantastic detent. The detent sounds great. It feels great. This is a feature that can make or break a dive watch. I'm happy to say solely on the basis of the bezel feel and operation, Bremont definitely scored. It makes this watch. And with the sapphire cap, which is effectively indelible, you can shatter it, but you can't really scratch it. You can have a bezel that's fully luminescent because the luminova is abundantly protected. Therefore, when this watch glows at night, the bezel glows and the dial glows. Now, the dial is silvered and a matte finish. So matte silver metallic, you can see the striations of the center lending it a character that's perhaps modern and a little bit at odds with the railroad style inboard minutes and seconds track. Not completely conventional, nevertheless the two work. Now there's a sort of matte metallic finish below all of the applied indices, and the color, which is a beautifully turquoise, translates to a phenomenal blowtorch-like glow at night. You can see there is a convenient day and a date, and some ask, why do you need a date on a dive watch? Well, you don't need it to dive, but then again, for the 0.001% of your time you spend diving, you can use the other functions. For all the rest of the time, when you're on the surface, the day and the date prove to be extremely useful. Moreover, there is a double quick set for both day and date, hacking seconds to stop the balance and synchronize the watch, whether to an office timer or a dive timer. And it's worth mentioning that the day disc is actually bilingual, featuring both French and English. Bremont, of course, the name of the French farmer who came to the rescue of Bremont brand founders, the English brothers. Now, of course, inside the case, automatic winding, a COSC certified Swiss chronometer in the form of a movement that Bremont calls the BE36AR, but the rest of us are just going to call a chronometer grade ETA 28362. Beats away at 4 Hz, has a 38-hour power reserve, automatic winding, a chronometer, double quickset, 500-meter water resistance, helium escape valve, 25 joules, and very, very tough. It's a fitting motor for this high performance, not so much flying machine as, per its namesake, more of a seaplane pilot's watch. This one, which can dive, can fly, and can generally have fun, is an outstanding companion for someone looking for value in the dive watch class with an open mind ready to move beyond the Submariners, the Seamasters, and the Super Oceans. You can see and you can purchase this one on our website.